Okay, good morning, everyone. So today I am going to uh, discuss the answer keys of the last quiz that we had. So we will start with question number one. Okay, it says here, which of the following terms defined as is typically used to describe processes to examine or measure student learning that results from academic programs. It is also ongoing process aimed at improving student learning. Okay, so um, if you try to look at here, you know, the last part is the purpose of the uh, this term is aimed at improving student learning. So in this case, this is more of an assessment. Okay, so this number one is an assessment. So when we say evaluation, so there is judgment there, no? So where can we relate uh, evaluation? So let us say grading. So when you grade, there is already judgment, or what when you are going to decide for a winner in a contest, that is there's a judgment, no? So that case, that is evaluation. So don't be confused between assessment and evaluation. So when you say improvement, assessment, but when you say there is judgment or grading, that is evaluation. Measurement, when you say measurement, that is simply writing a score or scoring. And when you say testing, so testing is just simply you're going to administer the test. So you're just simply conducting the test. Okay, let's proceed with number two. What does teaching to test means? Okay, teaching to test. So from teach to test. Okay, so let's have the option. Teachers use test to teach. So para baliskan. So definitely it's not letter A. Letter B. Teachers begin and end instruction with the test. But it says here teaching to test. So from teaching would result to testing. So definitely letter B is not. Okay. Let's go to letter D. No? Teachers teach in such a way student performs well on meaningful tasks. Parang marami ditong nagkakamali. So in this case, this is more of a authentic assessment. No? So parang you let your students to perform meaningful tasks. But in our question, this does not imply teaching the test. So definitely the answer is teachers teach by focusing primarily on those what will be tested. So basically that is the concept, no? So you teach what is what will be tested at the end of a period. You know? Okay. So that's number two. Now let's go to number three. Okay. Wait, I could be. Assessment should be varied and multiple. So what does it mean? So number one, sufficient number of samples of student performance must be obtained. Okay, number one is correct. So lahat yung may number one, correct yun. So the answer could be A, C, and D. Okay, let's go to number two. Use of different tools to determine students' application of learning. So that is also true. No? So when we say multiple and varied, so you have to make use of different tools. Aside from sufficient number of samples, you have to use different tools. So 1 and 2 must be also correct. So C, di na pwede, no? So it could be A and B. Cater multiple intelligence, that is also true. No, that is the reason why we do valid multiple and varied assessment methods. So therefore, 1, 2, and 3 are correct. So therefore, the answer is letter D. Letter D. Now, let's proceed with the next number. Which type of test measures students' strengths and weaknesses in a specific area of study? Okay. So if you hear this kind of questions, though I know in your modules it says it's formative, no? But when you have this kind of questions, strength or weaknesses, and let's say identifying student needs or identifying students misconception. So in this case, this is more of a diagnostic test. Of diagnostic test. Achievement, it's when we say achievement, that is at the end. No, that is the test that would measure how far or how far the students have achieved for a certain subject matter or uh, have achieved for a specific set of competencies. So example of achievement test is like periodical exams are examples of achievement tests. Um, Formative, it's not definitely formative since formative is parang that is used uh, um, to adjust on instruction. So if let us say if the students have achieved the learning outcome for the day, so the teacher may proceed to another topic. Or let's say if uh, for that day the students have not achieved the uh, learning outcomes for the day, so maybe the teachers will reteach again and use um, another strategy, teaching strategy. Summative, yeah, it's usually at the end. No? Parang same purpose as the achievement. No? Pero it's the summative is on the classroom setting now. Okay. So for this item, the best answer is diagnostic. So it's letter B. Now let's proceed with another. So to which type of assessment does assessment of learning refer? So when you say of, that is always summative. No, that is always summative. Assessment for learning, it's more of diagnostic and formative. Pero the best, if assessment for learning, the best answer there is diagnostic. Assessment as learning, it's more of a self-assessment. So for this item, we will go with the summative. Summative. Okay, let's proceed with the next item. In what way students involved in formative process? You know, some formative process. So when you say formative, that is during, di ba? That's during. So evaluate. Let's start with letter A. Evaluate instruction. Yeah, it's formative, but it's more of the teacher side, more on the teacher side. Okay, so definitely A is not the answer. Show proof of learning. Okay, that is more of a summative test. Set their own learning goals. So again, that is more of a that's at the beginning, no? It could be formative also, no. But let us try to look on onto the letter D. No? Monitor their ongoing process. So this one, monitor their ongoing processes from the start to the end, not from the start to the end. So this is the primary purpose of the formative assessment. No? This is the primary purpose of formative assessment. So therefore, um, the best answer for this item is letter D. Monitor their ongoing process. Let's proceed with the next item. Kathy took a special examination for her qualification to enroll in a special science class. What role of assessment is evident in this situation? Okay, so parang there's a test, no? There's a test in which from that test, it will be decided where or what class will you belong to. So for this case, it's more of a placement test. No? It's more of a placement assessment. So what are example of placement assessment? Let us say for the example of this placement assessment, uh, example of this are one, those who are already old enough, have stopped school, no, have stopped school. Then when they are going to go back to school, they're going to take some kind of test, and from that kind of test, it will be decided at what grade level they belong to. Okay, that is another example of placement assessment. No? That is also example of placement assessment. And another example also, yes, this one. If you are going to take uh, a test in which it will give you, it will it will allow you to be chosen in a science class or not, or in a special class. No? That is also placement assessment. Okay, so definitely for this item, the answer is placement. Okay, let's proceed with the next item. Okay, in considering the higher order thinking skills or higher order thinking, teachers should target which cognitive level. So definitely, we will go with the highest, and we know that the highest is creating. Yeah? Okay, the highest is creating. So if we'll encounter this kind of question again, no, so always make sure to choose the highest. So we know the highest is creating. So therefore, the answer here is letter B. Now let's proceed with this one. Next number. One of the learning competencies in grade 10 science class is that students should be able to describe the structure of and function of reproductive system. If expressed as learning target, what type of learning target it is? So you are here to describe the structure and function. No? So if we try to relate that in the cognitive level, it's more of the understanding. It's more of the understanding level. So let's try to look at the options. So skill, there's no skill involved here. It's more of a knowledge. It's more of a knowledge. Products, there's no products involved also. Deep understanding and reasoning. Okay, so more of you answer deep understanding and reasoning, but it is not, since okay, there is no process involved here, no. So there's no process involved. So definitely, it's more on the understanding that it's more of a lower level thinking skills. So therefore, it's the answer is letter C. Knowledge and simple understanding. Letter C. Let's have the last part. Which of the following outcomes has the highest cognitive level? Okay, let's try to uh, search for this one by one. No, one by one. Okay, describe the properties of the probability distribution. Okay, describe the properties of the probability distribution. So the keyword here is describe. So when you say describe, so parang just say something about the properties. Diba? So it's more on to not knowledge, not remembering level. It's more of the understanding level. So understanding. So sa letter A, it's understanding. Compute for the value and standard deviation of a given distribution. Okay, so when we say compute, there is something, a formula involved, right? So so when you are going to use the formula, so that is the same thing as applying, right? So that's more of the applying. So therefore, letter B is on the applying level. So letter A is understanding level, letter B is applying level. Apply the normal distribution in solving a probability related problem. So apply the normal distribution. So it's more of application also, applying, but in a problem solving. So it's more in between applying and analyzing. So we have letter letter A is understanding, letter B is applying, letter C is applying analyzing. Let's have letter D. Make valid inference and of an actual data or experiment based on its distribution. So the keyword here is make valid inference. So so when you say when you make an inference, there is judgment on your part. There is judgment on your part. So this is more of an evaluating. So which of the four is the highest? Number letter A, it's understanding. Letter B, it's applying, and also letter C, applying, analyzing. Letter D is evaluating. So definitely the highest one is evaluating. So therefore the answer here should be letter D. Okay, so that's it. So if you have some questions, you may comment it uh, later when I am going to post this one. Okay, so that's it, class. So God bless you. Good luck to your exams.